right, here we are. Hello, John. How are you today?
Hi, Angie. Nice to see you.
This is Does It Resonate with You? And I know some of you really love us. And if you haven't listened, please just stick it out with us for a few minutes because we're kind of hilarious. Um, and if you do enjoy, please reach out and hit that subscribe button and throw us a like, so that we can
Just
what is that, so we can interact with the YouTube algorithms, right?
right, right, right. We're
The
trying to
truth
talk
is
to the
we
algorithm and it's
love
ignoring
these,
us.
right, we love these conversations and we're going to keep doing them, but it would be nice if more people gave us some input. So today, this is a really great idea, John. Metal detecting and dowsing and combining them together to find treasure.
Yep.
So I am avid fan of um, The Curse of Oak Island, which means I'm an avid fan of Gary Drayton, who is one of the lead metal detecting experts in the world. You
Oh,
know,
oh, we do need
and
to talk. That
yeah, and
that's cool.
he's I love that show, and they've used metal detecting, and so it's really interesting, this avenue that you're going down, because are you familiar with the show Curse of Oak Island?
I've seen it. I mean, I've seen parts of it when I've
They're
been.
getting close now, but I have some. They are searching for treasure. They have been searching for treasure on this island for centuries. Like FDR was involved in the search there, and they believe they have found evidence that it looks like that it involves the Knights Templar,
Oh,
and
wow. So
yeah,
ancient treasure.
yeah, like really ancient. So really, really cool stuff. Which I don't want to talk a lot about, except to say that it seems, and every group of people who have searched for treasure on this island, there's been accidents, somebody's been killed, right? Like, and people continue to do it. The treasure is elusive. In other words, the island seems to react to people digging, and it will all of a sudden something will fill up with water, or something will sink, or so
Wow.
it's, I mean, it would take a lot now to watch it because there's a lot of seasons, and there's a lot of dead. I watch it because I'm just such a fan, right? But there's
Sweet.
there's there's a lot of a lot of dead space in there. A
Right.
lot of time they spend searching. But I believe firmly, and this is, you'll appreciate where I'm going when I finally ever get there. I believe firmly that, for one, their main goal is not just the treasure, it's the telling the story. They
Mm,
want to bring, and they've made some discoveries that have never, that predate anything they found on North America up
wow.
until now. They've made some really, really significant discoveries.
Sweet.
So I believe there's an energetic influence at work here, that the people who, up until like the last century, from the mid, say the mid 20th century until now, I think all those people were searching for the treasure for the sake of the treasure,
Mm,
for the sake of getting rich, for the sake of you know
right. Me, me,
the
me, me, me.
affluence, right?
Right. Yep.
Exactly. And I mean, if you watch, it's two brothers, they're from Traverse City, Michigan.
Huh.
um and they read the story in the Reader's Digest in the 60s, and however they managed to manifest a life that allowed them to have the money and the know-how and the connections to be able to do this. It's like their lifelong dream is to find this treasure
Okay.
and tell the story and
Wow.
celebrate the story and bring the story of the people forward. So I believe there's an energetic nature to this hidden treasure,
Mm-hmm.
that whether it's a curse or a spell or a intention or none of the above, and just based on the idea that when you put good into the world, it comes back to you,
Mm-hmm.
that is assisting them, and they will be the ones that find this treasure.
I love
That,
that.
and they have 21st century technology and a lot of
Okay.
money to
The
be able
tech
to get it,
helps.
right? So that does help. But so I just wonder, like, a metal detector. So that's you talking about a metal detector and a dowsing rod. They're both interacting with energy,
Right.
right?
Right.
I mean, because the metal gives off a signature, the metal detector reacts to the signature of the metal. And there are some pretty sophisticated metal detectors out there
Let
that
me
can
tell
tell
you,
you.
I've done some research recently.
Yeah, yeah, I imagine. I mean, they go from a toy all the way to really, really sophisticated.
$8,000.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
Um, and depending on what you're going to do, just depending on what you're going to do. So I just can't help but wonder, like, if you have, now they're in Canada, and so the whole metal detecting and digging thing is regulated. And I don't know what that's like in the US or where you could go. But I'm
I
thinking,
can,
I know you can do it on beaches.
yes.
So let's
And
just use a beach.
on any federal land, especially out west, you can do whatever you want with a metal detector. The thing you can't do is national parks and a couple other protected sites.
Oh, okay. So you can do what you want with the metal detector, but can you also dig?
Yes,
That's cool.
it is. Yep.
So I mean, you plot out a site. You plot out a site that you want to metal detect, and then now you have the dowsing rods, right? So
Mhm.
what do you have in mind? I want to hear what you have in mind. I'll say what I think, and then
So
see
here's
where
the
it goes
thought.
from
So
there.
I've read two books now on metal detecting, specifically for finding treasure, and the books are both about what are the best techniques to know where to start looking. Right. Once you know approximately where to start looking, it's pretty simple to turn the machine on and tweak the knobs a little bit and get in that area. But if your starting point is like 20 square miles, where do you start? Well, what if
Right.
the dowsing rod is like I'm going to lead you to the right area, and now that we have the dowsing rods telling me it's right here, now let me take the metal detector out and do the scan for that same area, and like, oh yeah, here it is right here.
I I think this is what I think. I mean, I wonder where does the power of intention, because that's how the dowsing rod works, right? The
Right.
dowsing rod does
Yep.
not know where the area is, right? The
It
dowsing rod is metal. It's a piece of metal. It doesn't have a brain. It doesn't think,
Yep. It's
right?
you as the
It's
person
you,
receiving.
right? So I think this could work provided A, you believe it'll work. B, you take the time to set yourself up energetically to set the intention. This is what
Yes.
I'm looking for. And I think, honestly, I think there needs to be some, uh, like if we're going to combine all these things, right? Technology and energetics, and I think that there needs to be an element of gratitude,
Yeah.
gratitude and abundance, right?
Yep.
That law of attraction rule that says if you are grateful, you will find more things to be grateful for. So,
Right.
I wonder, it would be interesting to do like some kind of a controlled experiment, where, I
I
mean,
would love to do
why
that.
wouldn't you be able to do it, like, if you could get somebody to bury two identical objects in two similar, uh what would you call it,
Right.
plots.
Yeah. Plots. Yeah. Good word.
Yeah, two similar plots, two identical objects, two different people, one that's just kind of, doing it, and one that's really taking the time to set themselves up. It'd be really interesting to see, um who came out on top.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just saying. But no, I honestly don't know. I don't know, because I know that when you're working with a pendulum, or when you're working with a pendulum, you're working with dowsing rods, they can't really tell you something you don't already know. So I wonder, I mean, but there's somebody had to take an action to bury that object. So
Yeah, I wonder if that's what it's
I don't
tapping
know.
into.
I don't know. Have you read anything on combining the two?
No, no. In fact, the two camps are almost diametrically opposed.
Mm-hmm.
They both think each other is full of it.
Which, I mean, the metal detector is not full of it, right? It's just
No,
not.
no, you're right. It is more one way, right? The metal
Yeah.
detector crowd thinks that the dowsers are full of it, and the dowsers are going, all right, let's just see how much you find. There's some really good stories about dowsers, and this is specifically on digging wells, though. The dowsers versus the guy with the ground penetrating radar, and the radar guy made 10 mistakes and got 2 right, and the dowser got 10 right and made 2 mistakes. So
That is probably an experienced dowser that knows what he's looking for, right?
right.
And water. I wonder if that's got anything.
But
I mean,
there's fantastic dowser stories for the oil companies. They
still a liquid and a disturbance under the ground. Well, so would an object be a disturbance under the ground?
right. Yeah, if you're talking
Ah,
um
but it's a mass. It's massive,
right,
right?
right.
They're not looking for a little,
Coins.
gold and emerald ring.
That's an
Or
interesting point. Those tiny things maybe don't show up for dowsers.
I
Maybe
wonder.
not.
Well, I mean,
There's also map dowsing too, where
right.
I like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
so map dowsing is definitely connecting to the intent, not the actual, energy on the ground. Although energy doesn't need to be in one location, does it?
No. Um,
See, every time they try and explain dowsing scientifically, someone else will go, "Well, what about map dowsing?" And then they all go, "Oh, just shut up. We can't explain it."
oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know. I have tried when I had lost something, uh, drawing out a floor plan of
Yeah.
my house,
Yep.
the rooms. But this is way back before I made ever any connections, really energetically. When I still believed the pendulum had a consciousness,
Okay.
which I don't anymore. But oh no, can you hear that pendulum upstairs it's about to run down here and smack me upside the head? No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I did a layout of my house, like what am I trying to say?
Like a
Like a room
blueprint.
grid, like a floor, yeah, right. But very, very rudimentary.
Sure, hand drawn.
Trying to find whatever it was I was looking for. Is it in this room? Is it in this room? No, frankly, it didn't work. But
I did that, and so let me tell the story. This is great. I was looking for a pair of pliers that I lost, and it's a very specialized pair of pliers. And so I took my pendulum, and I went to the upstairs, the second floor, and I'm like, "Is it here?" And the pendulum's like, "Not here. Okay, not on this floor." All right, go to the ground floor. Is it on the ground floor? Is it in the basement? Oh, yes. Swinging in a circle. Circle for me is yes. So it's in the basement. Cool. So I'm going to each room in the basement. Is it in the furnace room? No. Is it in the work room? No. Is it in the rec room? No. And I'm like, how can it be in the basement but not in any room? And so I went back upstairs. Is it upstairs? No. Go back down the basement. Is in the basement? Yes. But it's not in any room. No. I'm like, all right, pointless. Right. So I just gave it up for lost and I ordered a new pair of pliers. The next day, before the new pair of pliers came, I was walking down the basement and my kid had taken the pliers and had stuck them into the handrail going down the stairs. So it wasn't actually in a room in the basement. It was on the stairs going to the basement.
oh, for heaven's sake.
I'm like, I just didn't ask the right question. But there it was. He had stuck them in the handrail.
So interesting. I mean, they were close.
They were right. I was close. It told me the right floor. Um, had I asked, "Is it on the stairs?" It probably would have gone vroom, 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 like,
Maybe, yeah. I
yep,
mean, I don't know. That's one of those things. I think you kind of have to have an idea of where something was in the first place,
true.
but I
And I
don't
knew,
know for sure. Like, I mean, or maybe you just have to have a connection to the object. Like that was your plier, that was your pair of pliers,
that is
right?
true. Yep.
And so you have an energetic connection to that pair of pliers because you've been pretty much the one that used it. Probably the kid was not supposed to touch it. He was definitely not supposed to, shove it in the railing.
In the railing.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's so.
Yeah. I just laughed when I saw it because, like, first of all, why is it? I didn't stick it in the railing, and I know who did, but the fact that I just then reviewed all those questions I asked, I'm like, you know what? I didn't ask the right question at the end.
And that's a big problem, right? Like that is the thing with pendulums and what have you. I was at I went to a mind reading show last night.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
My friend Joe Diamond, the mind reader, and he was great. He is great. It was a new show. It was fantastic. I got called up on stage and drew a stupid picture, and I mean it was really cool. He's asked everybody not to say anything about kind of what happened during that show, but I'll go on because after the show we were in this if you have seen the movie Groundhog Day, you've seen this building. It's the Woodstock Opera House. So that it's in some of the scenes because
Okay.
they filmed
Yep.
in that square there. And so we were in this opera house, which is historic. It's over 100 years old. And so the person I was with had wanted to stay for the ghost tour afterwards. Now, me, like ghosts don't, like they just don't light my fire. I'm not concerned about what's on the other side. I know what I believe is on the other side and I'm comfortable with that. I'm not afraid of ghosts. So it's, to me, okay, whatever. Whatever. Fine.
Right.
Help yourselves, folks.
Yep.
But I mean, I would love to get some kind of, picture with energy bubbles in it or something. That would be fun.
Or
So,
ectoplasm.
yeah, right. Well, that'd be awesome.
Splat.
I mean, I've literally seen. Oh yeah, I remembered who it was too. Now I can't remember her damn name again. Where they say they got ectoplasm out of the. I don't buy that at all. I do not buy that at all.
That to me
Ectoplasm
is,
falling out of the sky during
right.
a seance.
Yep.
That to me is
A little hoaxy.
Everybody else, yeah, a little hoaxy. So anyway, at the end he had a table with pendulums, and he has this really cool thing, and you'd really like it. You have to see the YouTube video on how to make it. It's Joe Diamond. I think he calls it spirit bottle. So he takes a tall glass bottle like a wine bottle, and he puts the pendulum inside the bottle.
Okay.
And recorks it, and seals it.
Yep,
So the pendulum is hanging in the bottle and it can swing in the bottle. And what it is a spirit bottle, I think. Everybody puts their hands on the table. It's like a Ouija board, right?
Okay. I'm listening.
Or shall we say a spirit board, since that word is copyright protected by Parker Brothers. Whatever. Everybody puts their hands on the table, and then they, establish yes and no, right, for the group.
Yep.
And then get the thing swinging. So there were people running around. He had some loose pendulums. They were running around, asking questions, talking to the ghosts and everything. And I'm just sitting in the chair because it was already 10 o'clock going.
Right. Bedtime.
Because I turn into a damn pumpkin at 8 o'clock at night, right? But here's something interesting that I find interesting. So one, that he let people take turns putting their hands on the table, right?
Yep.
And somebody asked a question, and they were talking about this ghost that was residing in the doll, which, whatever, it's a story, like
Sure.
it could be a ghost. I didn't really get the sense that it was, but or it could be an energy imprint, right? Like, because the story's been told so many times.
Hmm.
Somebody said, "Are you happy here, or would you like to leave?" Now it's not going to answer that, right? So then he dialed it back, and Joe said, "No, you have to ask questions one at a time." So they all got through, right? Like they got through, and then I said I wanted to ask a question. He's like, "Does anyone else?" And I'm like, "I just want to see because I think it'll be hilarious. Is Matthew the conductor?" Which of course it said yes. Um, but I already know that, right? Like I
Right.
know Matthew's the conductor. Then when it was finished, everybody that would fit put their hands on this table, and he was asking for the number of something. Oh, he had a stack of cards that were numbered, and he wanted to draw a card for the whole group, and he wanted the bottle to give him the number to get off the card, right?
Ooh.
So everybody puts their hands on the table. I got two hands on the table, and we're all standing there going,
Right.
nothing happening. Nothing is, and I've seen the pendulum swing and hit the side of the bottle before, So I'm like, oh. As soon as I picked up my hands, ting, ting, ting. I'm not really sure what that means.
You're a
He said,
sponge for positive energy.
he said, were you blocking the answer? And I'm like, I don't know.
You tell me, right?
I wanted to say that, but I didn't. But I thought, it's really fun. But when I'm involved, in a table full of people like that I don't really know, my energy kind of,
Yeah.
like I don't really let people into my energy messing around, So I
Wow.
wonder if I did. I mean, I picked up my hands on that bottle right away. That pendulum started hitting the side of the bottle immediately. So I don't know. Maybe there is more to it than I'm giving it credit for.
That's amazing,
I
Angie.
know, isn't it kind of cool?
That's
Like,
wow. There's a ghost story for you. That's
right,
really interesting.
right. And somebody did what other people were doing it. They asked this ghost. Her name is Elvira. That's what they say anyway. I thought that was a little what is it, kitschy, or
Kitschy, very kitschy, yes.
But are you happy here? And the thing started really swinging, like hitting the side of the bottle. I was like, oh. So I'm doing the conversation in the back of my head. Is that really Elvira? I won't tell. I'm not going to say what the answer was that I got, but at least not on the air. Anyway, I don't know. But interesting. So since we were talking about metal detectors and these bottles, dowsing and pendulum, I mean, if you were going to do it on a map to find a place to metal detect, I think you could probably use a pendulum, and see. Because I've been able to hold a pen. I don't have anything that resembles a pendulum
Yeah,
nearby here.
I've got one right here.
But I've been able to hold a pendulum straight up and say, like, what direction should I go? I've never asked that actual question, but it's a question on that order. And I've gotten the pendulum to be able to swing in one direction and really just kind of pull into. So, like right now, you could ask, "Am I left-handed?" I don't know what way it's swinging because I don't know what way you're oriented. But
Right. So
you
my yes is in a circle, and my no
no,
is back.
forget your yes. Forget your yes. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
And what hand is the pendulum in?
It's in my right hand.
Okay, so get it to stop. And now just ask the question, am I left-handed or right-handed? Am I left-handed or
Am I
right-handed?
left-handed or right-handed? Okay, it's giving
See
me
how
a,
it's see how you can't see. It's pulling to the right. It's pulling towards your hand.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So I mean that was a simplistic way. A better way would be uh, like, do you have a CPU for your computer?
Yeah.
It's to one side or the other, right?
Yeah.
So do it again and just say where's my CPU?
Where's my CPU? Oh yeah, it's like it's pointing right at it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if you had a map and a pendulum, maybe you know, if you knew specifically what you were looking for, coins.
Yep.
You can't.
Well, let
I
me
mean,
tell
you
you
can find.
from
Go
the
ahead.
book, the author explains that, especially along the ocean or a lake, he finds what's called a coin line. And once you find one coin, the other coins that you find are going to be in a line because that's where
Yep.
where the waves hit, right?
That's what Gary says.
How interesting. All right. So
Yep.
so here's the thing. What I would do then is I would take a map of the beach I'm going to go to, and I would put the pendulum over and say, um, is the coin line here? No. Is the coin line here? No. Coin line should be here. Okay, that's where we're going to start looking, and then bring the metal detector over to that area and start looking for the coin line there.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, holy cow! Wait a minute. You can go treasure hunting and get metal detection lessons with him
Really?
in Florida.
Oh, that's awesome. Florida is one of the best places to do this.
It's January 8th through the 21st of 2024, and then February 10th through the 24th of 2024. So not that it's kind of limited, but oh, and November 25th through December 15th, 2023. See, you should go to Florida, hang out with Gary.
Okay, I might just do that. I gotta afford my top of the line metal detector first, though.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
That's
Although he would probably tell you not to get the top of the line one right off the bat. That would be my guess.
I know, but I it always annoys me when I buy something too low down the totem, too low on the totem pole, and you outgrow it within a couple months. So I'd rather go
No, I
high.
get that, but I might not go all the way to the top.
Okay,
I
I'm not
might
going to
skip
pay
the
it. No,
bottom
yeah, I'm not
and
going
go
to go
somewhere in the
8 grand.
middle.
Right, I'll go somewhere in the
Well, I
middle.
mean, look at. Okay, fine. We're gonna run out of time, but really look at where those things are useful and where you're likely to go. That probably will give you a clue as
Yes.
to what you really want to buy.
So
right?
for me in Michigan, beaches, there's certain
Oh yeah,
kinds of
there's
detectors.
all kinds of shit. Did I say that word? Oh, we're on YouTube. According to what they say, they're the lost gold of the Civil War. Lost gold is in Lake Michigan.
Really?
According to where that show, they never did finally. I don't know what wound up if they actually found it, but they did find a lot of evidence. But you can't in Lake Michigan. You can't go underwater and bring anything up. You can only metal detect down there and find it, and then maybe you'll get lucky and get a permit to be able to go down and get it. But I think that you can go on the beaches and
beaches are wide open. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that you hit the shores of Lake Michigan, you very likely to find, if you go to the touristy places, you're gonna find tourist stuff and bottle pop. What is
Yeah,
it?
you can filter out for that. What you're going to do is find lost tourist jewelry, which is typically pretty good stuff.
Yeah. See, I have a problem with capitalizing on people's misfortune, so I
Is
would
it
have a hard
capitalizing
time
or
with that.
is it repurposing?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but on the other hand, doubloons, I'm all over that. I mean, I don't see if I found something that looked contemporary, I would be compelled to try and find out who it belonged to and try to get it back to them.
Yeah, actually, again, back to the book I read, the guy said anytime he found a ring that had a name in it, he would always try and get it back to them. But sometimes it's crushed or it has no name on it.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's a shame. But then again, if you're dumb enough to wear something that you could possibly lose on the beach, maybe you deserve to lose it.
Right. That was someone's life lesson.
And that's a life lesson. That's got nothing to do with the universe putting you here to learn something.
Right. You
Oh my
learned how to
God,
be a
that's so
better
funny.
human and how
Yeah,
not to lose your
right?
stuff.
Or be right. Learn how to be more responsible. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Mhm.
I wonder. I don't know. I sure would love to see in the comments anybody that's, tried with dowsing or metal detecting or made any kind of, discoveries of any kind whatsoever.
There's a really interesting article I read a few years ago about lost Nazi treasure in Poland. Apparently, the story goes that in one of the mining towns in Poland, the Nazis stored a huge treasure trove of art
Hmm.
and gold and coins and yeah, it's basically art and valuables. And they hid it in order to come back later. And then, of course, they lost the war, and were many of them were imprisoned, and many of them,
Right.
died. And so there's this story, the story that won't die, of this huge treasure trove somewhere in the mountains in Poland. And what's been interesting is that there's been numerous dowsers that have gone there that are getting really good signals, but they've never been able to actually get to where it is. So
I
Google
want
it sometime. Lost
so
Nazi treasure in Poland mountain. It's a great article.
I've seen that story. And I can't remember. I want to say maybe it was also part of a movie,
Okay.
like a movie that I watched. Um, hmm. See, I wonder, and I doubt that they've done it on Oak Island either. But I wonder if they've ever actually enlisted the help of a psychic, like a remote viewer.
That would be really smart if they would do that.
I know, I would think so. I mean, because it's really funny. Last night when we were in this theater, uh, I shut most everything off when I'm in a place like that. It's a lot, like, when you are a sponge for negative energy, you have to manage your energy, right? And
Yep.
if you're in the middle of a bunch of dabblers and you know people who are afraid, there weren't a lot. It doesn't seem like there were a lot of people that were afraid, like had any kind of fear stuff. But I keep it pretty close, right? Like I
Mhm.
keep it pretty close. But when everybody went up to the balcony, um oh, right, yeah, right. They asked Elvira, "Were you poisoned or did you take it yourself?" Whatever. Anyway, uh I kept being drawn to there was like this stairway that went up to backstage,
Yeah.
and the usher I went over to, and the usher's like, "Come on now, we're not going." I said, I'm not going." Like, do I look dumb? I'm not going backstage. But I wanted to go by this doorway. There was an exit and there was stairs that led up to the stage. It's not a huge place, so it's and I just kept getting this sense like like by the stairs like
Yeah.
this. And it was only 6 or 7 stairs, but I just felt like this, like, and I wondered, and then I thought about it for a while and I thought, well, it's been a live theater forever. I don't know. I don't think it's one of those ones that was ever a movie theater. I think it's
Mhm,
always
mhm.
been a live theater. So I'm sure there have been people that have tumbled down those stairs, right? But that's what I just kept feeling was the tumbling down the stairs.
Huh.
So, I mean, if you got, I think that you would need somebody who's practiced, right? Who has practiced it and because we're all psychic to one degree or another,
Sure.
and we
Yeah.
all specialize in any of us that do this work specialize in one thing or another, or a few, a couple, two, three things or whatever. But in my mind, you're looking for somebody who actually has practice connecting with objects, finding objects. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that'd be very, very cool. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. And,
Yep.
I know people that practice remote viewing. Didn't you tell me that you did it for a time, or was that
I was
someone else?
studying it. Yeah.
And, I mean, that to me, that's another one of those things where if the if they don't prepare you in the right way, like now I would be much more suited to study it and do it than
Yeah.
I would have been 6 or 7 years ago or 8. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sure.
And I might have tried it then and gotten discouraged and stopped because I wasn't really very able to do it. So I think that, to me, there is an order or a hierarchy in how we should do these things. First we need to learn the language and how do we connect, and
Right. Learn how
learn
to.
what intuition even is. We need
Yeah.
to learn how to shut down our ego, because our ego is like, oh, don't mess in that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, that's its job, right? To keep us safe.
Right.
So I'm freezing a little bit or something. Is that weird? There's something odd going on. That is odd. I shouldn't be freezing. But anyway, if you do it in a good order and get enough practice, then maybe that would be an additional assistant, right?
Yeah. Have the two things
Dows
going together.
Metal detecting, dowsing, remote viewing. Like, could you see a cavern with gold coins underneath it? That'd be awesome.
Right. Right.
Now you need the douse. So you run your hand over the map, right? Until you can feel a connection to the gold coins. Then you use the pendulum or the dowsing rod to help you pinpoint where on the map that stuff is.
Mhm.
Then you go use the metal detector. See, now I combined all three of them for you.
Right. Right. We have a system here, Angie.
We do. We should patent it
I was just
before
gonna
anybody
say,
runs away with it.
we patent it and then put a sign up for them, and we'll teach it.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. I mean, I think that it would be worth exploring at least. It'd be a
Yeah.
lot of fun to explore, for sure. Wow, holy cow, I can't believe it's time to go already.
Yes. And we still haven't
Sometimes we
found any
come up with
treasure.
these subjects and you think, how much is there to say? And then the next thing you know, it's
Mhm.
time to go. So, yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. You know what? Between you and I, we have come up with considerable number of ideas and experiments and things that would be really fun to do. So we should really put in the manifesting, in the manifesting bubble, we should put a "Does it resonate with you" retreat.
Ooh.
Come and play, right?
Yes.
Come and try these things.
We'll bring
We'll bury
pendulums.
some treasure and pendulums and energy work and tarot reading, and
Oracle decks.
be awesome.
That
It
would
would be
be
so
really
much fun. Yeah, it
okay.
would be a lot of fun. And we could do it somewhere close where we could, even metal detect maybe. It
Do
would
it.
be great fun.
I think Lake Michigan, either your side or my side, is going to
Oh,
have.
yeah. Well, I mean, my side is the Chicago side, so
Go
I don't
north
know
of
what
there.
I don't know what you would find there. I think we'd have to go a little further north than that.
True. Yep.
Just
You'd find gangster stuff.
you very well might. You very well might. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and I can tell you I've probably been to Lake Michigan twice.
Okay.
On
We
the
go
Chicago
we
side.
go every week to the Lake Michigan side. During the summer, we go to Grand Haven or South Haven.
Oh, okay. But remember, I don't
That's right.
swim with fish.
You don't swim with
so-
fish. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that. But anyway, that would be a lot of fun. We could, there'd be a lot of things we could do. We could
Mhm.
really, that folks, start putting that on your list of things you'd like to do.
Right.
If you think it
So
sounds
does
like
it
a good
resonate
plan.
with you? Retreat.
Yes, I think
2024.
it'd be great fun. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, that's the end of it for today. So thank you very much for listening. Please reach down and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed our cockamamie conversation. You know how I love alliteration. But hit that like button for us too while you're at it. We'd really appreciate it. Anyway, thanks so much. And John, we'll see you, for tarot time.
Sounds good. See ya.